And we are live for our Nintendo News Daily. What is going on? I'm your host, N64 Josh. People are just rolling in here. I'm running a little bit late today. We do like to start this at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 Pacific if you want to jump in on YouTube for the live show. Now, in this episode and in every episode, typically we're going to just cover some Nintendo news bites, right? So just a handful of whatever's in the news, and then we'll focus on one main topic. So oftentimes the thumbnail will represent that main topic. So we've got our news, and then today we're going to be talking about the price of the Switch. There's maybe some potential leaks, but I'm more interested in chatting with the community and finding out where we think this thing is going to be, where I think it's going to realistically be priced, but then also where we would like it to be priced. And so that's going to be today's show. Now I'm going to get the here we go. Get this up here. We got some we're going to start off with something kind of fun. So, but first up, I do want to say, what's up, Sunshine, Jenna? We got a few people just hanging out, just lurking. Welcome on in. So good to see you guys. And let's see here. I gotta get the right. For some reason, it didn't grab the right screen. Now we'll get it up. We're doing it live, Ash, what's happening? So good to see you. Well, here we go, you guys. Look at this. This is just a render that somebody made. Okay, like don't. If you're only listening, this is the Switch 2 made to look like the Wii, and it says Wii 2 on it. Which, I mean, again, this is just it's it looks like Card NLH is the name of the person that made the render. Now, why did this catch my eye when I was on while I was on Reddit? Because it kind of got me thinking, how would you guys feel about retro inspired Switches? If you think back to the handheld times of Nintendo, right? You've got like the DS, or even it goes back to, like, I have a Game Boy Advance SP that looks like the Famicom. It's gold and red. You've got, NES inspired Game Boy Advance SP. You have DS, NES, 3DS, Super Nintendo, right? And so I don't know about you guys, but I think these things would fly off the shelves, especially knowing, like, I feel like I see so many people come through my chats, come through the lives, that the Wii is their favorite system, right? And so if you got a Wii inspired Switch, granted, sometimes white like can get kind of grimy and whatnot. So like I would be totally okay if they did the like the black model as well. But just like I love this. I love this design. I love this design of the light blue and the white. Like, it looks super clean. I just wouldn't want to touch it. That's all. I just wouldn't want to touch it. And to see the even on the bottom of the dock, how it's like gray. Like, remember the old stand for the Wii? Like, this is so well done. Like, I really love it. So I see a few more people have jumped in. What's up, Dylan? What's up, Leo? Let's see if I missed anybody. How is everybody doing? I think I've gotten everybody that has said hello so far. Sunshine says, ew, wash your hands and it will stay clean. I mean, listen, I wash my hands regularly, all right? Like, regularly. But it's just plastic and it's, oils. I don't know what else to say. I guess I'd have like some sanitizer right before I play. Just gotta sanitize. Keep the Switch wipes nearby. They're like dude wipes, but they're just for when you play your Switch, so you can keep the white pristine. Dylan says, but it would just make me want a Wii more. I love this idea. I honestly love it. I think it would be fantastic to see Nintendo, especially come anniversaries for different consoles, make a Super Nintendo inspired Switch, make a NES inspired Switch, the Nintendo 64. And you know what? If you're gonna do 64, go all out and make them the amazing translucent, like green and the smoke color, and just make them amazing. Make them amazing so that we can get that, that game. Remember, you guys remember playing Game Boy Color and then having the clear purple one? Like that was the best time in gaming, having all the clear plastic. So Dylan said I would absolutely buy the N641, one, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I love this idea. I love the kind of just the Wii inspired, do it with all of them. Do the Virtual Boy, make it bright red. Like, let's go. Let's go. So continuing on here with some more, and that wasn't really news. That was just kind of a fun little quick topic. But as far as news goes, Nintendo Music adds another Pokemon soundtrack, and Pokemon Arceus, you guys, has been added, and there are 102 tracks. 102 tracks for this. So I don't know about you guys, but this app is something I use on the regular. Like I've mentioned it on here before. A lot of days I will drive my girlfriend's son to school, and I let him be the DJ. And we've gotten into some new Kirby tracks. Ninja Hideaway has been his opening track when he's DJing on the drive, and so we've been listening to a lot of Ninja Hideaway, and it's fantastic. Little Kirby getting in the mix now as well. And then I'll have to make requests periodically. I'm like, yo, throw on some Super Mario Kart or something along those lines. So, but if you're a fan of the of Arceus, you have 102 new tracks to check out on Nintendo Music. And this, I know, like Jenna is currently coloring right now. I know that because she mentioned it. And this is such great, like, there are so many just chill tunes. Like, you can put on the Animal Crossing soundtrack, and not only do they have like the tracks during like nice days, they also have the tracks during rainy days. And so like you can listen to the music with rain in the background also. So it's very soothing, very relaxing. I love this app, and love that they've added one more feature to a Nintendo Switch Online. Now, Donkey Kong. If you're in the chat, I want to hear from you. What do you guys think of the new design? And if you're watching this or listening to this after the fact, leave me a comment. Let me know, what do you think of the new look of Donkey Kong? And apparently, there are some new items available on the My Nintendo store. Okay, so first up, we have a post on Reddit that said history is being rewritten in front of our eyes, and it's showing Donkey Kong with Diddy, and then it's showing the new version of Donkey Kong and Diddy. Jenna says, I love it. Okay, well, that's good. That's a positive. There's so many mixed opinions on this. So taking a look at the article, it says, in case you missed it somehow, Donkey Kong seems to be getting a makeover in the upcoming Mario Kart title. His redesign has led to all sorts of conversation within the Donkey Kong and Nintendo community. And now some new themed items have been spotted on the My Nintendo store. This includes some charm straps featuring DK and Diddy. They are $7.99 or $12.99 in the UK. And also Nintendo's Japanese online store is offering bookmarks, pencil cases, and various other Donkey Kong themed items. So here's a look for the US and the UK. And the little heading here says, you'll go bananas for this DK Kong inspired charm strap featuring DK and his beloved bananas. Each charm has a clasp on the top and a ring on the bottom to allow for additional charms to be connected in an endless configuration. And so we can see this is the new design of Donkey Kong. And then in Japan, you've got all these bookmarks. You've got this banana-shaped pencil pouch, which is just amazing. As well as looks like maybe some stickers. Let's see, pencil case and various other themed items. So yeah, I'm not quite sure exactly. Yeah, it looks like some kind of sticker case maybe, and then I don't know, maybe these are stickers as well. It's hard to say. It's just kind of looks like tape almost. But yeah, looking at the chat, Dylan says, at first I was gagged, but I quickly came to peace with it because it's the OG. That's fair. Sunshine says, I think he's adorable. I'm here for the new look. And I need that banana pouch. Someone go to Japan for me. So C says Donkey Kong is a gorilla wearing a tie. He looks silly, period. Fair. Fair. So a lot of you guys know the controller that I use for Mario Kart and Smash is a Mario themed GameCube controller. This is from Japan. It is from what used to, so my Nintendo used to be Club Nintendo. And so I picked this up through an eBay listing. So there are some possibilities out there for you to find these, Sunshine, or you never know. Maybe just find a friend, find somebody living in Japan and have them pick it up for you and then ship it on over. So, but yeah, I mean, when it comes to his new design, I don't mind it at all. It does look very like OG. It looks a lot like the movie. It's not something that like I'm some people, I know some people are super bent out of shape about this, and I'm just like, it does look a lot like the classic arcade artwork, like from the early 80s. I think 81 was when Donkey Kong came out. And so I'm here for it. And I love that it's made it into the games, because sometimes we would see this kind of artwork show up, but then it wouldn't necessarily be represented in games. And I'm curious what there's going to be some future games of his, I would assume, very soon. The one thing I find strange is that they recently showcased Donkey Kong Land at Super Nintendo World in Japan. And that didn't have, like, they have somebody in a costume come out, but it was very much the old design. And I found that a little bit strange, that being something so recently released, that wasn't updated as well. It just seemed a little bit strange to me. But I think the design is cool. It's very retro. The whole Mario Kart 9 or 10 or X or whatever, the whole vibe of it looks like classic artwork. And I've talked about this before. Even Super Mario Brothers Wonder, the design of the characters looks somewhat like classic marketing material, which I love. I loved it so much I got it tattooed on my arm. So I'm all about that artwork. So I think it's great, and I'm obviously very excited for Mario Kart. So main topic, you guys, is we want to talk about price of Switch 2. Now, this random Italian site lists the Switch 2 pre-orders for just £15 more than the Switch OLED. Okay. And then right under it, we're on Nintendo Life's website right now, and it says, smells like a stunt. And more than likely, that is the case. Like, the one thing that I have realized more than ever with the release of the Switch 2 is just how many websites and companies are trying to capitalize on leaking things or making claims about this system just to maybe become known for the first time, or maybe become trying to become relevant, whatever the case may be. And so more than likely there's no weight to this, but I do want to chat about it with you guys. So we'll get into the article here. It says, as Nintendo continues to take its good old time revealing details about the upcoming console, other companies have been quick to cash in on everybody's desperation for Switch 2 news. Like I just said, the price point is a key talking point right now. And an Italian site, Games and Movies, again, we'd probably never be speaking about it if it wasn't for Switch 2, has taken a punt and put limited Switch pre-orders live for just $15 more, or £15 more than the OLED. Now, they could just be doing this because they're like, yo, we just want to get people to start pre-ordering right now, and then maybe they're gonna eat the difference. But does this seem realistic to anybody? Does this seem realistic? And it may not be pounds. I don't. Maybe you guys can tell me what the currency is in Italy. But what do you guys think is realistic for the Switch 2? Do you guys think $15 more? Do you think there's a possibility that the Switch 2 comes out at like $379.99? Do you think it's going to be $399.99? Do you know? Are you on the team that's like, oh, I think it's going to be $500, right? And when we start talking price, we also got to keep in mind like an Xbox Series X is what, $499, right? The Series S is like $299. A lot of times you can find it for under $300. You got the PS4 or PS5 digital is what, $399. You know, so you like, they've got to find a sweet spot, right? They got to find that sweet spot. So here we go. Sunshine says, I feel like with the upgrade to the technology of it, the price is going to be higher than that, maybe $399, but I hope it's not $500. I want to get one day one. Yeah. And that, I mean, my gut feeling, I'm leaning into the $399 price tag. I think there's a very real possibility that we see Nintendo do a price refresh on the original Switch, lower all of them by $50 at least. And there is a chance that Switch 2 could come in at $350, right? It's the non-OLED. So it doesn't have the OLED, which is what was part of the reason that the OLED was more, $50 more. It's the LCD screen again. We know Nintendo's always trying to sell their consoles at a profit. So it's going to be, the technology is a bit older typically, but with some great upgrades under the hood, don't get me wrong. So I think there could be a chance that we see $349.99, but my gut feeling is that we're going to see it at $399, and they may just keep. Nintendo at one time said that they were going to continue supporting the Switch for they wanted it to have a 10-year cycle. Well, we're at year 8, like almost to the date, and so do they continue supporting the original Switch for another 2 years with games that are still coming out on it and lowering the price and just getting the Switch into more households? Because I've had countless people on this show talk about the way they got their first Nintendo and how like they got their NES after the Super Nintendo came out because that's what parents could afford, right? And so I think there are going to be those situations where there are people that are getting the Switch for the first time after Switch 2 comes out. Like I think that's just the way things go. And there's a massive library there. So I think that's fine. Dylan says, I feel like they're going to charge more for the pre-order than just 20 extra. Could be. But 400 is my guess too. Praying it's not 500. I don't think it's going to be 500, and here's why. History has shown us what happens when companies come out and say our system is going to be $500, and it doesn't go well. Like both Xbox and PlayStation realized that this generation, and both had SKUs right at the $399 mark. Right now, the disc version of the PS5 and the Series X was more expensive, but you could still play the games almost as good on the Series S, coming in at $299. And then if you wanted to spend the extra $200, you had the option. So there were options there. I don't see Nintendo, like, if the Switch had been priced at $100 higher than it was, I don't think we would see nearly the same amount of sales. I don't think, and I think they know that, realizing that we're playing with a tablet that's that is a hybrid system. I don't think, I mean, we're gonna notice a significant boost to horsepower and what's under the hood of this thing. Don't get me wrong, it's gonna be awesome. But I don't think, if you guys, so again, speaking of history, when the PS3 came out, Sony's response to the price being like $599, or it was up there. Their response was, get a second job. Like, what? Like, that's insanity. That is crazy. And so Nintendo has watched what has happened. They've looked at what, I mean, you got to remember, we're only one console generation from the Wii U. They don't want that to repeat. That was a massive blow. When they only sell 13 million total units of their console, they don't want that again. So that's not, I just can't imagine it happening. Yes, Nintendo is in a very healthy place, and they could really flex those brand muscles. And we are seeing that with like Donkey Kong Country HD Returns being $60. Luigi's Mansion 2 being $60. Like, that's, flex those muscles on your software. That's fine. That brand muscle, flex it on your software. But when it comes to the hardware, I think they know better. I think they know better. So Cryptic says, what was the price of Wii U to Switch? I believe when I picked up the Wii U, now the version I got had Zombie U and a Pro controller, and it didn't have a Wii remote. So it looks like, I'm trying to see, I'm trying to find out when, like, what it launched at. Give me one sec. Wii U price at launch was, I feel like it was $350. Yeah, $299 for the basic set and $349 for the deluxe. So basically priced around the same as the Switch. And I remember the one I got, the Zombie U one, it being right around that same price. It might have been $399 because it had the game with it. There is that chance. So yeah. So again, I mean, obviously you've got to account for inflation and all that kind of stuff, but Nintendo wants they want to sell 20 million of these things. In the first fiscal year, I can't imagine them coming out and saying it's going to be $500 and people being like, ugh, right? Because there's so many people out there that are like, yo, I'm hoping to buy a couple of these, right? Like I've heard it and seen it in multiple occasions where it's like, I mean, and me as well. I'm like, I want to pick these up for my girlfriend and my daughters, and like, I want to be able to get these into as many hands as possible. And $500 a pop is that's a lot. And Jenna says, if it's 500, I'm not even bothering. And I think Nintendo knows that. I think there's a chance, a refresh of the system in a couple of years, maybe a little more horsepower and an OLED screen, and they say 450. Maybe, maybe that ends up being the case. Grim, what's going on? I see Dash is also here as well. Welcome on in. We're talking price of the Switch 2. And I pulled this up on, again, this is fan made. This is not real. So don't take it at gospel. Literally the post is about this being, the dream, right? And even going through some of the comments here on subreddit, it says 400 is the best case scenario. 450 is slightly bad, but very possible scenario. 500 is the worst case scenario. I agree. And somebody, the first comment says, I'm going to have to get it significantly later if it's $500. And this comment is always funny. Y'all spitting out numbers like 350 and 400 USD. I'm dying over here thinking about the conversion to Canadian. Don't worry, us Aussies. Then the comment under it, don't worry, Canadian. Us Aussies basically have the same dollar as you. I'm thinking around $5.99. Oh, I feel for these guys. Like that's crazy. But I mean, it looks like, safe bet $3.99 to $4.99. Like I have a feeling that's going to be the price that we end up getting. Yo, Grim Grim says if it's $500, it better be 8K resolution, right? Because that marketing worked well for PlayStation, and how many people have 8K televisions in their living room right now, or how many monitors? And can you imagine what would the frame rate be on 8K? Like, we're gonna go ahead and play this like a PowerPoint. It's gonna be great. It is gonna be great. So Cryptic says, for me, it's going to be console and new revision of Pro Controller if it launches with one. And I'm sure it's going to, because they got that C button or whatever that is. We don't know yet what this other button is. You can see on the picture, it's supposedly a C button based on everybody's like renders and the 3D prints that were done, but Nintendo blurted out, or not blurted out, but they didn't have it in their renders of the video that they showed. So assuming that is going to be the case there. And I'm in a similar boat. I mean, I'm still using my day one Pro Controller. Like I've bought a handful more, like some of the special edition ones that came out, just because I like them and I think they're fun to collect. But still been using that day one. And if it is true that we're getting Hall effect sticks, that's all. Those are from my assumption. Nintendo went with the lowest bidder with the sticks when it came to the Joy-Con and the Pro Controller last time around. I don't think the lowest bidder is going to be doing the Hall effects on this one. So that's going to add to the price a little bit. Obviously, just the newer technology and whatnot. But if they want to move, I really keep going back to the fact that if they want to move 20 million of these in the first fiscal year, like $349 does it no problem. These things will be flying off the shelves. $399, I think it still does. But you start getting into $449, and I think it's going to be a little bit of a sticker shock for people. I think it's going to take the wind out of some people's sails, right? Like for everybody that's like hardcore and they're like, yo, I'm playing Mario Kart no matter what. I need this thing. But we're going to spend whatever we need to get to be able to play. But I think Nintendo, being as healthy as they are right now, it would be in their best interest to make sure that they get this into as many hands as possible with a price that is somewhat affordable. So that's my thought anyway. I'm on the camp that like $349 to $399 is the sweet spot, and $349 would ultimately be like, that would be the best. That would be the best. I don't know if it's realistic, right? Because I mean, obviously it's a business. They need to make their money. I get it. But $349 would be the sweet spot. And then again, see them drop the prices of all the older Switches. And I know there's still people that would buy, be buying those consoles. And, especially like younger kids getting the Switch Lite, that kind of stuff. There's such a vast library there. Not to mention probably a lot of you guys listening, like you've got younger kids or kids that are starting to maybe get a little bit older, whatever the case may be. Like, you may not want them carrying around your Switch 2 right? But you give them a Switch Lite or something like that. It's a little more kid proof, and um, and that and if they come in at $100, but they can play everything on the Switch, minus a few motion games, that's a steal. Grim asks, wasn't this the original price for the OLED? It was. Yeah. And again, this picture is just something that was fan made. It's on a subreddit. Like that's all we're looking at here. It's just for the sake of conversation. I want to make sure that's very clear to everybody. Like this is not official. We do not know the official price from Nintendo. This is just for the sake of conversation that 349.99 could be the price. And again, I don't think anybody's really expecting that. I think we're all thinking 399. But who knows? They could surprise us. They could surprise us, and that would be amazing. We also don't know, like, what is that new technology in the Joy-Con that where you can use it like a mouse, and what is, that's also going to tie into the cost. I assume, the magnets, that's being a different, a whole different, like ball game for the way the Joy-Con are connecting and the cost there. And, so again, they're going to sell this thing at a profit. I don't think historically, they don't typically sell at a loss. And so I expect them to sell this thing at a profit. Again, fingers crossed that it's not $100 more than the OLED right now, for the main reason that when they do that refresh, if it comes in at $449, that means they're going to sell the OLED version of this for $500, for $499. And so that, that's also something that, like, they start getting their consoles up into the same price as a PS5 or the Xbox Series X, but it's not quite doing the same amount, although it is handheld. I don't know. I think they're about positioning self. They can look at the Switch and go, we priced this thing perfectly. We priced it perfectly. And they had multiple SKUs, multiple price points, and everybody was really happy. So Cryptic says, how does this affect battery life? I hope it can still meet or exceed the current Switch's battery. Now, I will look into this. Because I have seen, based on, the shipping manifests and some other information that's out there, that when it comes to the battery life, supposedly it's going to be better, which we would all expect, right? That it's going to be better. It's probably bigger, right? They aren't just making the console bigger so that the screen is bigger. When you do a bigger tablet, you can put a bigger battery in. It's similar to like getting the iPhone, Pro versus the regular. Your battery life is better because the battery is bigger. It's not just the bigger screen. So we should have, and again, it's just an assumption, but there should be better battery life. I believe, again, from other videos that I've watched, and so it's getting to be kind of like secondhand. I don't want to play telephone too much with you guys, but like from what I can remember, based on the different specs and whatnot that people are assuming this thing will be, the battery life should be improved, even when you're playing like, the first party games. Because if you've played like Legend of Zelda on your Switch handheld, like the battery life is what, like 3 to 6 hours or something like that. Like it can take a hit when you're running the bigger games. But with again, supposedly with the new tech and everything, there should be opportunity. And apparently the I don't know if it's wattage or whatever. So again, don't quote me on this, but when it's docked, is significantly higher as well. And so there's some cool things apparently that can happen under the hood, but I need to go and research it further before I talk on it anymore, because I don't want to just spew like secondhand information. And it's been a couple weeks since I learned about this. And so I don't want to get too into the weeds with it, but apparently it is going to be better based on what we know at this point. So I'm sure April 2nd, we are going to know we'll know exactly, like they should give us some idea of what the battery life will be like and whatnot. So it should be, we should be good to go there. But my only assumption is that it should be a bigger battery that would last longer. And then depending on what's happening under the hood, if you've got that cloud tech and the AI tech going on, I'm kind of under the assumption that it's not going to be as much of a load on the battery as what the current Switch has. So, but we'll just have to wait and see. But that is going to do it, guys, for today's episode. Thank you so much for being here. Again, if you're watching this after the fact or listening after the fact, please, share your thoughts. I want to hear them, see what you guys think. You guys are here live. I appreciate you so much. 3:30 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. We are doing this show, and honestly, I am loving it, you guys, and I'm seeing more and more people every day, and it's just it's seriously warming my heart. So you guys are amazing. We will see you all in the next one. Bye, everybody.